Hello, everyone. Welcome to another fantastic episode of the DKM podcast. It's your boys this time, Danny, Marcos, and Kenny. How you fellas doing today?
Wait,
And
where
he's
was
finally
Marcos
back.
last time?
What do you
Huh?
mean? I was here.
You said
No,
boys.
but I mean, like Kenny wasn't here.
yeah, but
Yeah.
you said boys.
That's
So
true.
Yeah.
what? Last time you said boy, but we
That's
are
true.
Yeah,
the
my boy
boys.
Marcos. Yeah,
boys is
I'm
always
running
gonna be
duo.
freaking plural, no matter what.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not talking to myself in the third person. My bad.
Yeah, dummy.
Speaking about duos, just a little weird thing that is pathetic about Call of Duty Warzone's anti-cheat system was broken within the day. So
Oh yeah, I
Wait,
heard.
yeah.
Ricochet was freaking.
I mean, like-
the source code was leaked instantaneously.
I like to imagine that like Activision's like, look, guys, come on. We're gonna put. I'll tell you what. We're gonna put a Cheeto right at the door lock so it doesn't. At least we have some form of protection.
it's just yikes. It was a big old yikes, and they didn't even do much. But
Yeah.
Call of Duty still doesn't want a console ban or IP ban or Mac ban just because it doesn't want to. I'm pretty sure Activision says, "Hey, no banning consoles because people buy packs."
Yeah, because if there's less consoles, we can't get more monies in the COD shop.
Right.
You see how this works, right?
Right.
No.
Well,
How does it
does.
work?
But speaking about Activision, anyways, Marcos, I don't know if you heard about this, but McCree's a dead name now. We can't say McCree, which all right, let me just get this out of the way right now. How many of you guys actually knew that McCree was actually a developer in Blizzard? Knew that name was referring to a Blizzard developer? Because I didn't know about this until after all this.
Is that
shit
the
went
reason
down.
why they removed it from the freaking game?
Yes, literally that was it. And I still remember why they started doing it too. When all this shit was going down, apparently there was like these Overwatch League commentators that they didn't say McCree. They would say Cowboy. Every time when there was a thing McCree would do, they would say Cowboy instead. And I didn't quite get it. And then I found out the reason was because one of the Blizzard developer pieces of shit apparently was named McCree was named after one of those developers.
Okay.
And so as sort of a way to be like, well, we don't want to remind his legacy and blah, 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 they decided like, all right, fuck it. We're not going to use the name McCree anymore. We finally got his new name, and his name is Cole Cassidy. Now, I know this is really weird. And personally, before we get into the subject of the name, this is what I want to know. Okay, so like on the down low, like for real, like what is going to happen in the Rule 34 website? Like, are we going to have like McCree parentheses Cole Cassidy, or is it going to be the other way around? Like, I want to know how that's going to work in that website, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, I don't know. I think that the Cole Cassidy name is all right. I think it's a cool name. I think it's all right.
Honestly, it's people are still gonna call it McCree.
Yeah.
Say the truth, it's
Yeah.
more of a cultural thing
But
because
that's a dead name. You can't say that.
true,
too bad.
but it's just something that the developers would rather use because of obviously the most recent history of shenanigans that's been happening. So they would rather Cole Cassidy to be put through, but like the game has been. McCree was big part of the game with the whole high noon meme. So like it's gonna be a hard one to push away, mainly because gamers will still call it McCree, because who cares about what they name it? I'm still going to call it what I find it, comfortable. And also, McCree, 2 syllables. Cassidy, too many syllables. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my monkey brain can't process that.
Guys,
What?
Yeah,
I
what's
think
up?
that made me stupid.
You've always been stupid. Sorry to tell you this.
Yeah, I don't know if you get the test results. I mean, I fucking plastered it on your fridge. Don't ask me how I got into your house, but I did.
Speaking about
'Cause I
people,
didn't lock the door.
speaking about dumb people, as well as Blizzard changing a cowboy who uses guns, a very anti Second Amendment celebrity, Alec Baldwin. He
Man, no.
he became a cowboy earlier this week.
Wait, what do you mean?
Man.
Talk to me. Tell me what happened.
All right, so
he does know. Okay,
I-
yeah.
all right,
no
so
clue.
Alec Baldwin, very interesting actor. I think he's also
yeah.
developed some movies or produced some movies. I can't remember, but I like him. He's a funny dude, real nice guy. You don't have to agree with him and everything, but he makes great entertainment. Well,
Yeah.
earlier this week, I believe it was on the 21st of October, so Thursday, he was recording the new movie that's being developed, a low budget movie called Rust, and
Oh, like the game.
Wait,
It's
wait.
like a
Yeah, I was
really
about to
early
say, is
access
it the
film.
game?
Is it Alec Baldwin gonna wake up with a rock and a torch and he's just gonna hit rocks all day, and then he's gonna grief kids on Rust?
yes, but
Awesome.
Alec Baldwin, like in most movies, like in any movie really, where there's firearms involved, usually they have props that look just like the real gun, or it's actually the real gun, but without any live ammo on it. It's mostly blanks, and very special blanks too, because even then, blanks still are pretty lethal if you're shooting at point blank.
Yeah.
But even then, this was in California when they were recording, and well, Alec Baldwin was with a prop, doing his thing, just messing around with it, and he, not having proper trigger discipline and muzzle discipline, he pointed and he just shot a bullet.
Okay,
Wait,
but
he was playing with it,
was
or
it a
was he
bullet?
filming
Why
it?
was there a real bullet in this prop?
I don't know exactly why there was. I think the prop union says that it was actually filled with like actual ammo for whatever reason. I don't know the exact quote the union was called, but in the world of gun safety, if you're not taking gun safety seriously, you're playing around with the gun. There is no, it's a black and white issue. Either you're treating it seriously or you're not.
Yeah. So wait, yeah. So was this like he was filming something and then the blank went off?
No. They weren't filming. They were getting ready. And funny enough, this was about, I think, the cameramen, they were like a group of them. They were going to go. They were going to go on strike. They were going on strike essentially because of the workplace conditions at the movie set. But here's what happened. Alec was just, he had a prop. And him having this mentality, was messing around with the prop, not treating it seriously, and he just said, "Hey, I'm just gonna point this and just shoot it." Well, turned out there was live ammunition there, and sadly he shot one cinematographer, and the bullet went through and I think hit the director. I can't quite recall, but it was one person sadly passed, and the other person was sent to the hospital. How that I think they were sent through the hospital through a regular ambulance, and the person who ended up succumbing to their injuries was airlifted and only was pronounced dead at the hospital. So this has happened in California. Alec Baldwin was messing around with this loaded prop gun. And that's what happened. No arrests were done because obviously the police really couldn't do much given the certain informations. They're still investigating. But since this happened in California, it looks like Alec Baldwin might be, might be arrested or charged with murder at this point, and not manslaughter, even though the intent wasn't there. I think California is one of the few states that have a strict limit or a strict laws on gun behavior and gun discipline. So even if you don't know if it's loaded, but you're still playing around with it, you still got to treat it like it's loaded. So California might hit him with the book. Who knows about that? All I know is that it sucks that someone had to lose their life for this, and even then they were complaining about recording conditions in this movie set. So hopefully this movie will stop being produced, because you know how in the end of the movie says no people were harmed and no animals were harmed at the making of this film.
Yeah, now they have to say it was.
Yeah, they're part of
well,
more.
Now it's gonna be really awkward because the credits is gonna say in memory.
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
That's gonna be really awkward. Well, you said that this is like an independent film, right?
I said it was a low budget film. That's all I know about it, because
but like it's not funded like by big studios.
I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure.
Okay.
All I know is that all I cared about was what the unions had to say, and the prop union says they did everything right, and Alec Baldwin is most likely the one at fault here.
Yeah.
I just want to know who loaded the gun with real bullets on a prop.
Well, even then, the prop doesn't mean it's a fake gun.
No, I never said it was a fake gun. I'm just saying it could be a real gun. That's fine. What I'm saying is, why have real bullets in a real gun on a movie set instead of fake bullets?
Usually, depending Yeah, to answer that, usually the scene that you're recording requires live ammunitions. Maybe you're shooting something at a far distance, or you're shooting something that needs to go off, and the cheapest option is just to put ammo in it, live ammo, and just shoot it. That's usually how it goes. It's not that hard to understand, although it's something that a lot of people tend to be like, hey, it's something that you should be knowledgeable when it comes to regarding to firearm safety if you want to shoot something with live ammunition. But Alec Baldwin, and I'm trying to get political here, but he's obviously like anti 2A or anti Second Amendment and anti this and that, and the amount of memes that's been coming out because people have been going back back to 2014 on his Twitter, just making memes out of him. Like, yikes, this is really hard. Alec Baldwin's obviously very remorseful, and it sucks he's going through this, but actions not the consequences. We're gonna have to see what he has to what kind of punishment he's gonna have to deal with, because this sucks. People were already complaining about the working conditions in this movie, in this production of the movie, and now this happens. So hopefully justice will be served, and hopefully people get treated right and everything goes well.
My thing is that was the bullets that they fired, it was blanks, right?
No. So usually in movie productions, depending on what the director wants for a certain scene, if you want to use blanks, you can use blanks, because even it looks like you're firing a real shot, but you're shooting blanks. Or they can CGI it in where they can just shoot and that's it. But sometimes in some movies, there could be I forgot what chemical they use, where if you look at any video that involves people shooting guns, it's this sort of explosive that doesn't have a huge yield, but it catches on fire easily.
Right. Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say is that like blanks are not inherently safe. That's the point.
No,
that's what I'm getting at. Like if you look it up, you could see like an apple getting completely demolished by a blank shot.
Yeah, in point blank range. Sure. Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like that's just the thing I'm trying to clarify, is that whether it was shot with a real bullet.
No, it was a real bullet.
It was a shot. It was a real bullet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alec Baldwin did not shoot someone at point blank. He was a distance away, and not only that, like I said before, it went through the cinematographer and went through her body, and it hit someone behind her as well. So he could have potentially killed two people. So we're gonna have to see the results on this. We're gonna see what happens, if police are gonna press charges.
The news is already like breaking in, and now they're doing like an investigation on it. It says that apparently he was handed a gun, and he was told that the gun was cold gun, which indicates that the weapon did not have live rounds, right, according to an affidavit for a search warrant. So yeah, so the first thing that came in my mind when I first saw this actually was, do you guys remember the movie The Crow?
Sounds familiar.
No, I never saw that movie.
It's a movie based on a comic book character. You guys have probably seen like how he looks, but the only thing I know about the movie was the death of the main actor of the film, and it was because he died. Brandon Lee,
yeah, I remember. Okay.
Yeah, he died of a similar situation where a prop gun went off.
Oh, right.
And he got. That was like the first thing that came in my mind. It was like, holy shit. So, yeah, it definitely sucks. But what I was more interested, because I found out about the whole Alec Baldwin situation, was through Twitter. And mainly the discussion came up was that I saw a guy on Twitter dress up as, like, for Halloween or something. And he said, oh, I dressed up as Alec Baldwin for Halloween. Mm-hmm. And, people were pissed. People were saying, like, oh, that person just died, da-da-da-da-da, this, and that. And what I find it funny was that it was Ricky who did that, which you guys know who Ricky is, right?
Yep.
Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, so it kind of makes it even more awkward. It's like, all right, you want to go tell that guy that's wrong? Okay, go for it, man. So I don't know. I was having a discussion with my coworker about this, where I was just like, when do you think it's too short of time before you start making jokes? I mean, like, technically speaking, anybody can make a joke as soon as it wants. I mean, fuck it. I'm trying to go for the world record speed run of like most offensive joke at the shortest amount of time. Like I want to, like, that's like a world record I want to see. Like, the first person who made the joke about when 9/11 happened was just like, who made the first joke?
I think regardless of the situation that there is, everyone will find a way to just joke immediately. I mean, we already know of this very infamous New Zealand mass shooting in Christchurch. It was live streamed on Facebook.
Wait. I'm sorry, I have not been in tune with relative news here recently.
This was in March 15th, 2019, where a gentleman.
Yeah, I was like,
still have absolutely no clue about the New Zealand shooting.
It was it was worldwide because he right before he unloaded at this mosque in Christchurch, he said subscribe to PewDiePie, and it was like he knew his internet lingo, and he was obviously he knew what he was doing. He said he knew what he was doing, and he even recorded it on Facebook Live, and had people record record the stream in real time, so it doesn't get like when Facebook
finds out about
flags it deletes it, which a lot of people were talking about, like, hey, Facebook should have shut down this live stream immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I believe I forgot the death count. I know it was in the 50, probably like 51 or something. Damn, but all I know is that yeah. So even then, like, people, when it was happening, people were making like actual jokes about it, and the amount of jokes he made afterwards too. The whole what's this thing called? All the meme references he made, everything, people just started making jokes. It's honestly, it all depends. It's all subjective, but when it becomes culturally all right, I mean, it depends. I mean, who's this one comedian who dated Ariana Grande, whose dad died in one of the buildings in the World Trade Center, in the Twin Towers?
Oh, clue.
I forgot his name. If I can find him, I'll let. If I can tell you his name, he can. But obviously, is it right for him to say jokes? I mean, it depends on the observer. But his dad died in one of the towers, so I guess people give him a bit leniency on it. But he is a comedian. I think he had some beef with MGK. I can't remember. All I know is that he is a funny dude, and he has made a bunch of 9/11 jokes about his dad passing.
Unless you're talking about Andrew CK, is that what you're talking about?
No. I'll tell you right now. I'm looking it up.
Okay.
But he definitely takes Pete Davidson. He makes definitely the he doesn't let that slide. He just goes, "Hey."
Oh man, I haven't seen this face in a while.
Yeah.
Damn, I haven't seen Pete. All right. Oh, yeah, he was in SNL. All right. Yeah, that's why I remember him. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was just really funny because like that was like a question that everybody gets. I think it just varies on people and like, you know, what your sense of humor is and like what's the word I want to use?
Empathy.
Empathy. There you go. It's just like, can you, you know, is it like a coping mechanism? Do you use it as a joking thing? And I get it. Like, you know, I know that some people are not going to be all jived up for it, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like at some point, it's like, hey, man, if I make a joke about a tragedy that happened, like the fucking Hindenburg, you can't tell me, like, well, my great-great-uncle died in that. I was like, well,
yeah. Good thing that you don't know your great-great-uncle.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't fucking know at that point, you know. But, yeah, it definitely sucks. Yeah, it's really fucked up, though, what happened. So, definitely, we're going to have to wait and see how this news gets developed as far as, like, the whole... and wondering if the film was even going to be done. If Alec is going to be charged with, I don't know. But that's a good question. You brought that up, Marcos. Do you think like actors are like taught like gun safety law rules? Like,
no,
you don't think so?
Depending on the film and director, because I know Keanu Reeves went really, really deep into his training.
I was about to say like he did for sure.
Yeah, but it really all depends on the director, the movie itself, and the actual actor.
It could be like maybe the actor will swap out every time like someone actually has to pull a trigger in the scene.
I doubt it.
He would have to. No. I'm talking about like other actors.
Oh,
like I'm talking like other actors that they'll probably like, all right, we got to shoot a scene with a guy shooting a gun. All right, swap out with the body double or something.
I think I would only find that reasonable if like maybe someone had a traumatic experience in the past with firearms and they were a victim of it. Maybe that makes sense, but
and they're just not comfortable with it.
Yeah, but regardless of it, like a lot of people, especially who are really big into who needs to have a gun and who doesn't. I feel like those people should know how to handle a gun. But with gun safety, you know, not to put your finger on the trigger, not to point at anyone. I mean, heck, even in my school, when it came to fixing airplanes, when it came to propeller airplanes, you're supposed to treat a propeller like a loaded gun. You're never supposed to be around it because at any moment, just randomly, it can just kick off. And propellers can really dent in your skull like like a knife, hot knife through butter. It's super scary. And even then, people still treat big metallic, very dangerous objects like without a care in the world. and people just need to be more cautious, I guess. Even with a gun, people just think it's like, oh, it's a gun. Like it's like in movies or in video games where I can take like 20 shots.
Yeah,
and I'll
I
be
mean,
all right.
I don't mean to be all, graphic or anything, but I've seen a couple videos where somebody walked into like a helicopter blade while it was spinning.
Yeah, yeah.
And that wasn't a
I've seen
pretty
someone
sight, man. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was just instantaneous.
I've seen someone getting sucked into a jet turbine engine once. It was not pretty.
Yeah, it's
Once I saw one guy survive it. Surprisingly, they managed to turn it off before he got fucking chopped up.
No. There's a reason for that. So usually, the reason why you get sucked up by a turbine engine is because there's a lot of negative pressure there, and because
Right,
the airplane, the turbines are.
I was sucking in air.
Wait, I'm bringing in my schooling here. The vanes, because they're called vanes, they're not called turbines. The turbines are in the rear of the engine. The vanes themselves are constantly spinning, creating a low pressure area or a vacuum, and it sucks everything in. However, that in Daniel's case, there's usually for some engines, I think they might be from Rolls-Royce engines that have this vane that's stationary, and it's just there to help direct air. So that guy got lucky and only managed to lose a couple of things, maybe a finger or two, because there is this piece of metal at the very beginning of the engine. That piece of metal, that the whole thing of metal there is there to help guide air in a uniform manner. And he was just lucky enough that he was sucked up by that engine. So yeah, it's scary, but they drill this into you, dude. Like, this is why when it comes to any profession, that they mess up a lot. Like, you even look at like policing and how,
like what I used to do.
or even that, yeah, like they really drill it into you. It's like, hey, you need to do this, because if not, you're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna hurt the people around you.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a reason why, like, certain jobs, like, I know most people out there, whenever they get a job, especially like in retail or like super low entry level jobs, nothing against you guys, I'm just giving a point. I think you guys know where I'm getting at here, where they give you those fucking those like health safety guide videos.
Oh,
yeah,
like, you don't take them serious. You're just like, whatever.
It's
You
just
don't
like,
need
it's the most common shit ever.
Exactly.
It's like, hey guys, make sure your shoes are tied before you walk into the store, because we don't want to be a liability.
That's
right.
If you're really hot, get some water. Man, I was so mad when I saw that JonTron video where like people paying like $500 for like basic shit, like, oh, if you're working outside, make sure you stop before you get a heat stroke and get cooled off. It's like, no fucking shit. I think my favorite one is just like, remember, I was walking with my cousin one day, and I was like telling my cousin, like, hey man, you got to be careful with the dread of half inch.
Yeah.
What the fuck is
What
that?
the hell is
it's
that?
like, it's like a half inch of a ledge. You could fuck your life up like that. I knew Bill one day.
So true.
He didn't know what I was talking about. Now he hit his head. His wife left him. His kids don't even talk to him anymore. He's a perfectly fine guy. Just something about when he hit his head made his wife leave him for his coworker, and his kids just stopped talking to him. He's perfectly healthy. He just lost all his life at that point.
There you go. I
So
will
weird.
say though that the little statement you made with regards to, hey, you should drink water before you do anything, and then when you're actually in the job site, actually doing the work, and you feel like you should drink water to avoid a heat stroke, and your superior or your manager comes in, it's like, hey, what are you doing? It's like, I'm getting some water. It's like, no, I don't pay you, or we don't pay you for this and that. So,
Oh, dude,
yeah.
fuck that. Oh man, I fucking protested at jobs before. It's like, man, if I gotta take a shit, I'm taking a shit. I don't give a damn what the fuck you tell me. Either I'm taking a shit here, or I'm taking a shit in the parking lot if you fire me, or I'm taking a shit when I get home, because I am not going to wait around. Fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that.
That's why some
Oh,
people
man.
tend to quit jobs, not because of the job
The
itself,
pay or
but
But
the
because
manager.
Yeah.
The work
yeah.
conditions, yeah. Very true.
Yep.
Mainly 'cause
I
of the
left,
manager.
I left quite a few jobs because of that.
Frankly, I've never done that, because usually in my field of work, it was all like, hey, we sort of need you so to do this work, and we don't want to train and waste time and money training someone else, because it's going to take
Right.
like a week to do that. So we're just going to deal with it until like, hey, unless I really mess it up. So that's really it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, if you're like in an entry level position, like you are entry level for a reason, and they like look at you as incredibly replaceable. So it's like almost insulting that they like, wait, you're not a robot and you don't have to eat or shit for 8 hours? Well, damn. We need to find someone else who can.
Speaking about things that are replaceable and things that you can replace, so the plates on the PS5, that called company Dbrand, that was being sued by Sony, they said, "All right, go screw yourself, Sony. We're bringing it back. We're bringing back our site."
Yeah, they brought it back a day later. They came out with the new ones, the Dark Plates 2.0, and it's like they're better. Don't get me wrong. How the air suction works though, that's my only concern. So like, the reason why the PlayStation had solid sides to begin with was because of the direction of airflow. Once you start opening up the sides of those vents were never intended to be there. So the PlayStation's working in a way that it wasn't intended to work as prior. So a lot of people are worried about like dust issues, and I'm more concerned on how the vents are positively impacting the PlayStation, if they are at all.
Do you guys open up your systems and clean them out like your computers?
Every now and then, not often.
I never done that to a single console.
I've never done. No, I did it to a 360, but like we're talking 360.
I figured.
Like I've done it to a couple 360s, but really newer consoles, not really. Like I had my Xbox One X that overheated on me, but it overheated on me one time. I was in a hotel room, so there was nothing really I could do about it. So
did you try putting like a bunch of towels on it?
No, I'm not dumb. I'm only stupid.
No, that was the old-fashioned way to fix the red ring of death on the 360.
No.
You overheated it on purpose.
Yeah, I know, but that's the 360, not the Xbox One X.
I mean, tradition, man.
Tradition.
I thought it was an Easter egg.
Oh yeah, totally. It makes the 360 startup noise when you freaking do that.
And then if you put if you plug in the old 360 headset, you get the original Xbox 360 dashboard. Like not that fucking.
Dude, I really wish that they would bring back the blades. Honestly, all right, man, but I digress.
Blades, man.
I digress.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. So the dark plates, honestly, I think they look cool. You know, they got rid of the Kaiba collar, but it's funny how we're talking about next gen consoles when our very first episode was next gen consoles. But yeah,
I will say though, if when it comes to just decorating your actual console or controllers, I wouldn't mind it. That's just what you said with regards to the vent on the side. I wouldn't do, because it's going away from what the original design was engineered for.
Oh yeah, they straight up added vents to the side. Wow.
Yeah, they did.
Man, it's like those really shitty. Oh my god, it's like those really shitty like coolers you could buy. The
intercoolers. The intercoolers.
Those things fucking work.
No, those things don't work. They're actually counterintuitive. They obstruct the airflow, and they make it worse sometimes.
I just always thought that, like, whenever I look at those things, like, so it's just basically adding unnecessary RGB to a console.
So like. Believe it or not, the one for the PS5, the intercooler for the PS5, blows air the opposite way.
Wait.
So it just gets hotter.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Oh, I didn't know it was going to turn into a fucking barbecue.
Jeez, this is kind of cringe. Even though Sony spent a good amount of R&D to change out their heatsink to make it lighter and more efficient.
So here's my only question. Here's the only thing I have. Why is Sony suing all these people for making these side plates, but not all these Chinese freaking companies that are making it and selling it on Amazon? And why haven't they come out with their own official side plates yet?
I always love those fucking.
They're going to be suing
really
these people.
Shitty, like those shitty skins you could buy for consoles.
Oh man, I had one of those.
Where it's like clearly they took a JPEG off of Google Images, not a PNG. Yep. They didn't probably look up like the biggest size of the original file. They probably looked up like the smallest fucking thing, and they stretched that picture out. Yeah, because just some one kid wanted. No, man, I really want Goku with my PS3 controller.
With regards to Kenny, your comment with regards to the like the Chinese companies who distribute these things, it's not so much about what they can do. It's where they can do it, because when it comes to certain countries, they really can't extend their what's the word, their IP being some either being harmed in some way or another. And I think China is in one of those spots where Sony doesn't have a tight link with regards to
Well, you can't sue China at all.
All,
Like China
all they need
just
to
says,
do
"Oh,
is just freaking
cease and desist, copyright. Fuck that shit. We're China. We're gonna keep doing it anyways."
Yeah, I don't know how the legalese and all that works with China, especially with international law. But all I know is that with Japan, they tend to be pretty heavy when it comes to like their allies. So like if you do anything here in America, in the States, that sort of harms the IP, any Japanese IP that from a company that was in Japan, they'll be like, hey, your country is our homeboy, the place that you live is our homeboy, and we don't like that, and we have the power to say we don't like that, and therefore you should stop that, and we can't give you a cease and desist. So I'm not sure what the connection is with
why are they suing these people if they haven't come out with the official replacements yet? Like, I get it, they have a patent on it, right? Okay.
Right.
They have a patent on it.
That's your answer.
Right.
But it's not like it has the official PlayStation logo on it, which technically, yes, they're quote unquote copying the idea, but they're not promoting it as the official thing, which means that it's not a blatant ripoff.
Right. So much like how Nintendo does the exact same thing, literally the exact same thing except worse, it's because they can. And they want to because
like Nintendo sued the shit out of one guy for like making hacked NES and SNES classics.
Yeah,
like he just flat out did it. Like I said, man, it's just one of those things where it's like, here's the thing about like with lawsuits, right? It's not just the fact that you could sue someone, you get a judgment on them. It's how much money you could get out of them. And in cases like with China and things like that, you're probably not even going to get a fucking response from these people. These people are going to left you unseen if you're lucky. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they'll sue the store. The store could be like, hey.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that. If I go to Venice Beach right now and I see someone selling like fucking, oh my god, what's the brand I'm thinking of? Harley, I think it was Harley, right? Where like if I go, let's just say Harley for example, I could go to Venice Beach and I see a store selling Harley merchandise and I could be a representative of Harley. I could be like, hey, none of this shit is mine. I know the guy who runs the company. You're selling merch that is illegal, essentially. And it could be like either you shut it down or I come with the lawyers and I shut your whole store down.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one thing where it's like you're taking somebody's idea and you're just marketing off of it. Like you even include like the PlayStation logo and stuff like that.
But I think mostly of all, it's just you're changing and you're affecting their actual property in such a way that you're selling something that they never said it was okay to do it with. And obviously, there are a lot of companies out there that they don't care if you do this or that. Wasn't there
like Sega?
Right. So wasn't there cases where I forgot what console did it, where if you used a hard drive and it was recognized by the console that it was an incorrect.
Hey, that was our boy Microsoft. Yeah, I remember that.
It would brick. I think it would brick your hard drive and the console, or was it just the hard drive?
No, it would. Basically, the story was some guy opened up his 360 hard drive, the big fucking thing that attached it like a goddamn baby form of a xenomorph comes up.
Wait, which console was this? The Xbox One?
The 360.
Oh, the 360? Okay.
The top head, the hard drive
top
on the top.
loader?
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. Some guy opened that shit up, looked at it and said, huh, that's just a laptop hard drive. Well, why don't I just swap this out with a laptop hard drive? Boop, swapped it out. Microsoft detected it as like, hey, man, we don't have any fucking hard drives that support up to 500 gigabytes. What the fuck is going on here? Bam, instant console ban.
Oh wow,
that's hardware detection. That's not like these are just pieces of plastic that go on the side of the console. Plus, it's not stopping Sony from like making money. It's actually encouraging people to go out and buy the freaking console and then buy the side plates.
I'm sure that Sony sees this market being a possibility, and I'm sure they wouldn't mind.
Why haven't
going
they
into
capitalized on it already?
Because they don't have to.
Saw it. Well, here's
they
the
don't have
thing.
to.
Here's the thing. They're coming out with new colors, right? They came out with new colors for the controllers. Why not come out with coinciding colors for the side plates? I mean, hell, you guys already have a black controller. Why would I want a white console with a black controller?
They want to sell an entire console. They don't want to sell plates. That's the thing. Because if you want, like, what if in the future they come out with maybe half a year from now, a matte black PS5 to match the controller? They're not going to sell the plates itself, because then what if someone installs it incorrectly and they get their money back because they were unsatisfied with the product? Or They'd rather not deal with all that nonsense. So instead of that,
Yeah.
they could just say, "Hey, we're releasing a new PS5 Black Edition. Here it is."
But then you're not giving any trust in your customers. So like you're not expecting them to know what to do. Like it's kind of hard to explain. But
no, I get that. I get that.
Never meant to be like modded in the first place.
You're absolutely
like,
right, but these aren't modifications. They were intended to come off. No, the side plates are intended to come off.
The fact
For
that
repair.
you are changing it, the fact that you're changing it from the original design is considered a mod.
Literally, PlayStation on their website recommends you to take off your side plate once a month to clean out the freaking dust catches. They recommend it.
Yeah, but that's not to modify it, Kenny.
You're not modifying. You're just grabbing a big piece of plastic that has hooks on it, and you're just connecting it to the exact same spot that
Kenny,
you
misunderstand. No, Kenny, you misunderstand. You misunderstand. This mindset that you have is great for small business. Any small business, mom and pop shop is great to have that mindset. But this is a big ass corporation. They're not going to run on that same mindset. It's illogical. It doesn't give them enough money. Because if they constantly think about the small guy, they're not going to get the money that they want. So much like how Sony recommended that you clean out your plates, that was the whole purpose for them to have this design. Much like how you also said that they made a design of how having the Seto Kaiba collars is to get that good airflow to go in.
Yes, because that's how they engineered that way.
Right. So when you swap it out, it is a modification nonetheless, and they can be as pissy as they want because they have the money and the capital to push behind their bruised ego, saying, "Hey, we don't want this," and they can. It's in their legal right to do so.
Yes, it may be in their legal right, but who's to say? Let's say your console breaks for whatever the case may be. You can just swap out the side plates back to the white ones and then send it back out. Like, there's no difference. Nobody would ever tell you, hey, this is a modified PlayStation because you changed the side plates. They do identically the same thing if they don't have that little vent on the side of them. They are literally a big piece of plastic, 3 millimeters thick, and they will just sit there on the side of your PlayStation until you're ready to take them off and swap it out for a new one. If, and only if, Sony comes out with their own, which would make sense. They want to make money. They are a company. They will make money by all means possible. I don't see why they haven't came out with it.
Again,
honestly.
It's a small business like mentality that you're thinking with, and that's why you can't grasp it, and this is why we can't move on with this conversation, because Sony does not want to sell unless they make it for pennies and they sell it for $50 or $60 or whatever.
Don't you think a plastic mold is already pennies on the dollar?
No. You forgot the second part, and sell it for $50, which I doubt anyone will buy it for. Here's the problem.
Yeah.
But Sony does not want to deal. Sony does not want to deal, and here's the problem with the small business-like mentality that you're having. Sony does not want to deal with the manufacturing, the R&D, the shipping,
the R&D's
the contract. Done. Hold up, I'm not done. The contract. The testing on, well, not really, because you want to see what colors work best with who. You want to test it out with, like, hey, we'll just get a room with 100 people, right? We're gonna have 20 different colors, and people are gonna pick which colors they prefer on a PS5 with different plates.
Okay,
that costs money. That costs money. That's R&D.
You can oversimplify this.
You can't. It's a big corporation, Kenny. You can't.
Okay, but there's one simple way to oversimplify this. They did all the R&D for the colors of the controllers, correct?
Sure.
Okay, if you did the R&D for the controllers and you see that those colors are the colors that work, why not do the same exact thing with the controllers? Just grab that color that they made for the controller and have a coincide side plate. When you go ahead and you decide to make a special edition console, let's say, the side plates have a picture of, The Last of Us Part 2 remastered or some bullshit like that. Then you come out with a special colored controller for that specific console.
Sure. And here's why. It cuts into profits. And how does it cut into profits? So,
they already have the tooling and the machinery. All they need to do is change out the die and use the same die that they use for the
And here's the problem you're not seeing. Here's the problem you're not seeing. This is a logistical issue. It's not an ethical issue. It's not hey, you could get more money. The logistical issue is here that they need to develop this new color, this new plate. Instead of selling the whole new console, or the same console but with the same plates. They're now selling you just this piece of plastic. Now, what do they have to do? They have to sell it in stores with packaging to protect it. So like in a nice little plastic cardboard packaging, they have to waste money on that. They have to waste on contracting different companies, or maybe even one company, to just mass produce this one thing, this one piece of plastic. Then they have to deal with
think they already
shipment.
Have the factory for that for those pieces of plastic?
They have to continue making new contracts to help develop these new things. They have a contracts with multiple companies and different entities with the PS5 and their controllers. And that makes money. And that's where they priced the PS5 as $500 to get their money back. Because they need to absorb everything that they lost. If it's just a small piece of plastic, it's a small piece of plastic, Kenny, it's not going to work, because it's more of a loss on their end to give more headaches, to make more contracts, to make more agreements, more everything, and shipment, just for someone to incorrectly install it into the PlayStation, complain, go back to the store, get their money back. It's not going to happen because the logistics is not there. They might do it in the future, where maybe with a new design of the PS5, much like how the Xbox One had an Xbox One Slim, and they maybe changed the different things, because the Xbox One S is much easier to open up compared to the original Xbox One.
I could summarize the whole problem as simple as possible. I think Kenny was a really big fan of the new 3DS with the interchangeable backplates. He just wants that for the PlayStation. Am I right?
I can respect that.
I mean, I liked the design of it. I did. I'm not saying I didn't. I didn't own that console personally.
But you like the fact that you could do that.
Yeah, it just like Joy-Cons. Yeah. People fucking know how to take off Joy-Cons. If they know how to take off Joy-Cons, they know how to take off side plates.
And business there too. Good example. Here's a great example, and I'm glad you brought it up. Nintendo doesn't sell Joy-Con designs that you can just stick into your Switch Joy-Cons and you'll be fine. They sell a whole ass Joy-Con. They sell the whole ass Joy-Con.
Well, that was a third party one, but yeah, that's the idea I'm getting at.
Yeah, so it's literally that. It
literally
you don't
see Nintendo suing people for making Joy-Con shells.
No. That's a different argument with regards to developing it. If we want to talk about suing other people, sure, we can talk about how scummy Nintendo is on other things and suing other people.
Yeah.
But when it comes to actual like designs, like what's that called when you a decal, where it, or a wrap, right? So you can just wrap your,
because Dbrand makes skins as well.
Right. So Nintendo doesn't do that, and sell individual pieces that you can just install or stick on to your already existing Joy-Con. They sell you a completely new Joy-Con, and that's how they can satisfy the demand, people wanting different Joy-Cons, as well as giving different designs, because it doesn't cut into their budgets. All they need to do is maybe make some new agreements with whoever runs their whatever company's in charge of creating their Joy-Cons, and say, hey, do this design, do this color, do that, and how much is going to cost us? Oh, this much per year, or this much per unit, or this much per load. All right, cool. We're going to sign a contract for this, and we're going to see we're going to give you this much money, and we should get this much profit. And it works, and they just kept doing it with new games like Legend of Zelda, Smash, everything, just because the logistics was there.
I was just thinking about this. I was having a conversation with my coworker about like how many limited editions there are of like Game Boys, for example. There's like a bunch of them, and they could range from completely different colors to designs, to simple ones like, hey, I work at Mango Company up in the UK. I slapped a sticker on that bitch. That thing is worth $600 right now. You know, and I like to imagine it's just like you were talking about, like, oh, what can you technically do as far as like modifying? I like to imagine some poor little kid is like, oh, I love my Nintendo Switch. I'm gonna put a cute little flower on it, and then like a bunch of SWAT agents kick in and be like, oh, you think you could change our property, huh? You little piece of shit. Where's the switches?
I think when it comes to just these plates and stuff, honestly, I don't know how it's honestly hurting Sony having these plates.
Right. At the end of the day, companies will do scummy shit, which is like probably doesn't hurt them in the grand scheme of things. The example I was gonna say was like AM2R, right? What the fuck was Nintendo doing with the Metroid franchise before like Federation Force?
Absolutely nothing.
nothing, right? And it's like, man, this is like the one fucking IP that Nintendo has yet to give a shit about in how many years. Let's make a fan game out of it. They released it for 3 days, and then Nintendo shut it down. What happened afterwards? Nintendo announces Samus' return. Okay, cool. You could at least make the argument like, well, Nintendo wanted to make their own fucking Metroid 2 game, and they didn't want to compete with the fans who were giving it away from free. I know that sounds really stupid, but that's probably what the lawyers up in Japan were thinking. Like, well, this could probably, affect our profit margins.
With regards to the profit margins and whatnot, and I will just end it with this. It's just, companies don't have to be ethical about it. They just legally...
They want money.
Yeah, they just have to legally be right? So Nintendo can sue these people who are creating mods. The Sony can't create any litigations with regards to, hey, we're going to sue you because you're making plates and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because they legally can.
Yeah, they're legally
Is it scummy?
well,
it kind of is. It kind of is.
It is.
I'm not
scummy.
defending them. I'm just saying this is the world we live in, and they're just not going to make it because it's too much headaches and not enough profit. Because they need to see a certain, like, hey, we want to see a certain amount of returns for this, and if by our calculations, it's not going to work. So then we're not going to create plates. We will maybe in the future maybe release a PlayStation 5 with different colors, because.
Which they will. They're going to.
Probably,
I was thinking about, like, I always am surprised, like, how many successful consoles have come out. And, like, I don't know if it feels like when I was a kid, and maybe it's just the handhelds or something, but I feel like you could get, like, a limited edition for any system at any time. But something about, like, during the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One era, it just became way more difficult.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking about, like, okay, this is a console with, like, 2 fucking digital codes for games. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, a completely redesigned looking system,
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know about there was a Last of Us 2 bundle. I know about the Kingdom Hearts one. I know about the extremely rare one for the PS4 Pro. I know about the Spider-Man one, this, and that. But yeah, like I said, the way I look at it is, like, I'm surprised, like, Nintendo really hasn't, like, with the success of, like, how good the Switch was doing. I didn't even know there was, like, an Odyssey bundle, a Splatoon bundle. There was that Smash bundle, but that sold out. I expected it to sell out, but it's like, I've yet to see it anywhere else.
Animal Crossing, Animal Switch for the Switch.
Yeah, which is crazy, yeah. Like, that one sold out really quickly. It's fairly coming back nowadays, but generally speaking, I guess they're keeping their word that it's a limited edition, Like, I think they use that terminology "limited" a little bit too loosely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Animal Crossing one is pretty widely available. Mm-hmm. They're still selling it. I mean,
and they still produced more of it. That's what's crazy to me. Usually, a limited edition's like, we're making X amount. When it sells out, it sells out. But anyways, I think we should move on to actually the whole fucking thing I wanted to talk about with the podcast, because we got about 12 more minutes left. So yeah, GTA Definitive Edition Trilogy. GTA the Trilogy Definitive Edition.
No, GTA Hot Garbage Edition. You need to get it right.
Yeah, okay, wait. Before we get to that, before we get to our personal opinions of it, let's talk about the history of it real quickly. I have been following this rumor for so long. This game has been leaked on so many rating sites over and over and over again, and the fact it was coming to the Switch and blah, 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 blah. I thought that, if Rockstar is going to make any other fucking game that isn't Grand Theft Auto Online content, they probably would just re-release their older games, which is true, and I hope they'll do the same thing for Red Dead Redemption 1, maybe? Maybe give that game a definitive edition? Who knows? Yeah, so Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, is coming out on all modern platforms, including the Switch, which I'm going to take a dig at Square Enix here real quick, because, Marcos, you said that I don't dig at other companies that I like, so I'm going to give a dig to Square Enix, because this one's for you, buddy.
Oh, boy.
I don't like the fact that the Kingdom Hearts games on Switch are running through a cloud server, and you can't download them straight to the system. I thought that's kind of lame and lazy. There, I just want to get that off my chest. Thankfully, these games are going to be downloaded onto your system. We already got a fucking file size right now, and believe it or not, it's less than fucking 30 gigabytes. Now, granted, these are PS2 games, but they are being remastered and changed. So, yeah, what did you guys think about the changes of the game? Now, first of all, before we get into that, did you guys see the trailers or only saw the screenshots?
I've seen both.
You've seen both?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess I'll start first. I admittedly didn't like the look of the main characters at first. Claude, Tommy, and CJ. I thought they looked a little bit weird. But the argument that I heard, the first thing I heard on Twitter when people were talking about this was the fact that, well, to be fair though, the games were meant to be stylized in a certain way, not just because of a technical limitation, but it was because going off of the artwork of the first three games, at least the first 3D games, they're meant to be stylized. They're meant to be for the time period and things like
No,
that. And
I don't think that's what it was. You know what I truly think what it was?
They're
If they
gonna make it
wanted to change
easy.
the models, they had to recreate the game from the ground up.
Yep.
Which is weird. Like, I'm really curious because they said that they kind of did, though. Which, like, yeah, I know it's not GTA
Listen,
Vice
man,
City.
they put a
GTA
Band-Aid on
5
the
engine.
freaking games. That's all they did. There's mods that came out way before this game decided it was finally going to be a thing. And
Very true. Very true.
And they look better than what this hot garbage is that they're going to be coming out with because, like I said,
well, I will
it's a
say this
Band-Aid.
though. I think it looks. I'll say this though. I think it looks better than the mobile ports getting released on Xbox 360. That's what I'll say.
Okay, fair point. Fair point. And I can agree with you on that. But
Thank you. At least we could agree on that.
But I really do think it's hot garbage. Like, the games look like ass, and then they're gonna try and resell the games to you at a $50 price tag. If it was cheaper, I think there would be less of an issue because
Well, it's $60 for all three games.
it's 50 or
Oh, it's 50,
60,
okay.
whatever it is. That's still
Are you
too
sure?
much. Whatever it is, it's
No,
too
it's 60.
much.
It's 60 on the Switch store.
It's too much. That's all I know. Well, you also got to remember, Switch has a Switch tax, so they charge $10 more on Switch.
Well, I'll even double check to make sure, like on other platforms. But yeah,
But yeah, like to me, they just looked. It looked lazy. It looked like they should never had called it a remaster. If you own the games already, granted on PC, I feel like you should get the games for free on PC. By all means, BioShock did it. There was plenty of other games that have done it already, like Skyrim. I got.
Oh, you mean like when the definitive edition comes out? Yeah,
Yeah, you
just
get the upgrade
I
for
know.
free. Heck, they could have it to where it's backwards compatible with the original discs because Xbox has backwards compatibility. Granted, PlayStation 5 doesn't. But, you know, maybe you scan your barcode or something, you get a digital download of the game. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's ways, but I know they want to make money because, you know, how Rockstar is. And obviously nothing's for free. But I really do feel like they put minimal effort into these games. They just slapped a nice, pretty coat of paint on it. It really wasn't that pretty. It was just one coat. And they called it a day. And they said, yep, that's good. Let's just sell it like that. And a lot of people were pretty upset. Honestly. Myself included.
I don't know. I'm rewatching the trailer again. I don't know. I actually kind of like the look of it. I think it does the art style a little bit better. I could see like the screenshots, especially with Tommy. I did think that shit looked like The Sims. I will agree on that. But I don't know. I feel like that they're trying their best to kind of give it like a realistic, but still keeping the models as if like they're still based off the artwork of the game. You know what I'm saying?
I get that.
Because
but there's
I mean,
one
again,
thing...
it's all subjective. I'm well aware of it, and I agree with the fact that it's like the fact that they're getting rid of the original copies of the game.
That's
does suck
awful.
because like that I could understand. I think that's kind of lame because it's like if you don't have a fucking PC copy, fuck it, right here next to me, I have the fucking disc.
Yeah.
Of Vice City.
Yeah,
right
I
here
mean,
next
but
to me.
they did re-release like those games more than a couple times already as is.
Very
So
true.
If you
Very true,
haven't
but-
owned any of those games in the past or played them, you're not missing out on much in today's standards because there's plenty of other games that have well-versed stories. Heck, I mean, if you really want to play a GTA game with better graphics, just go play GTA 5, or hell, even put a mod on GTA 4 and play that.
Well, to be fair though, I mean, like I love Vice City and San Andreas especially. So I mean, like I'm looking forward to going back to those games, with any excuse. And to be fair though, I think that we're also shortchanging on the fact that it's not just a visual uplift; it is a gameplay uplift.
Yeah.
That I'm happy with, especially going back to those games. I don't think a lot of people remember the fucking fucking stress of playing San Andreas, especially that fucking train mission. They got to. I swear to God, that fucking mission better get a complete change. I want fucking Big Smoke to come in with an AC-130 and just nuke the shit out of that fucking train. Fuck that mission.
AC-130s don't carry nukes.
Huh?
AC-130s don't carry nukes.
No, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Just AC-130 kill streak that fucking train.
You just gotta look. You gotta get the dirt bike onto the train, and you're good. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah, just get the dirt bike on the train.
You have like literally 4 different attempts to do so that the game literally hands you for free.
Yeah, because the game's driving was so perfect at the time, right?
I will say that with Vice City, one thing I loved about it is that you can be going top speed and you can just get out of the car, and because you're no longer going forward and you're facing towards the left, you lose all forward momentum. So I hope they don't change that, which I'm pretty sure they will. But with my first impressions, I'm glad this is happening. I'm happy that this is happening because I played so much freaking GTA, especially back in school when we all had GTA in our USBs and it was the full freaking game, story mode and everything, that you could save your actual progress on a USB while in high school or middle school, because I played it in middle school and I was just having fun with it. So right. I'm glad this is a thing. I'm still gonna play the shit out of it if it's probably gonna go on sale. When it goes on sale, actually. But when it comes to just like the original games,
it's not worth $60.
I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's subjective.
I get where you're coming from. Like, because I'm pretty sure I could have bought the trilogy for like literally half off of the original price. And I was gonna also go back to my point about like the gameplay improvements as well. They are changing the controls. They are making it more modern-esque. So the idea of it is that not only is this game just a facelift and a nostalgic throwback, right. It's meant for people who who probably grew up playing GTA 5 at this point.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That also want to go back to these old games. Yeah, like I think like shit. I remember the first time finding out like, oh yeah, you don't press R2 to move the car, you press X. As someone who played all the PS2 Grand Theft Auto games and playing 4 for the first time and holding X thinking that was going to start the car, man, that was a big fucking shift for me.
Yeah, but that was more of the shift towards like modernized controllers because, right, I mean, granted, right. The PS2 had a pretty modern controller, but still, like, a lot of racing games had
the controller was modern, but the controls of the game were definitely not standardized.
They were still antiquated.
Like, people need to forget, like, during the PlayStation 2 era, there wasn't, like, a weapon wheel standardized yet. The Halo control scheme wasn't as standard as it was. You could play a first-person shooter in that era.
Yeah, they were all different. Every game
felt different.
They're all different.
It was all different. And that was made it special because it was so different, it was more memorable for me, you know?
Right.
It's going from playing Metal Gear Solid 3... You know, not saying the controls were bad, but it definitely was different. And then when you play Metal Gear Solid 5, it's like, oh, they're just using a modern control system at that point.
Yeah. I will say, though, as much as, like with most games anyways, I'm probably just going to wait until it goes on sale or something because I'm not going to buy it outright. Just now I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2 a whole bunch, even though I bought it when it was on sale. So right when the peak of it died down and it got on sale, I bought it when the first time it was on sale on PlayStation 4, and I started playing ever since. But even then, I'll probably still play this because it's not so much about the modding, how sure there could be other mods that look better. That could be true, but I can only think about the possibilities that this game can come with. Since it's going to be a gameplay improvement and graphical improvement anyways, I can only hope how great the actual... mods are going to be here with the graphical mods on this, because if it did, like, obviously there's mods out there like Kenny highlighted saying that, hey, there are mods that make it look better than what's happening now. Sure, that is true. So imagine the potentials that this new game with better graphics is going to release, that's being released soon. It's going to have even better mods out there, potentially.
Yeah, but that's if they allow modding on the games. They haven't even said anything about that, but you don't know that.
It will.
You don't know that.
Yeah, it will. It's an Unreal Engine game. Of course, it's going to be modded. Rockstar, believe it or not, is fairly okay with mods as long as it doesn't affect their profit margins on the online service.
Yeah, but wait, hold up. But I think Take-Two has been taking down websites and just mods that are affecting.
Take-Two has been taking down. Hey, Take-Two is a parent company.
Yeah, Take-Two has been taking down websites that release out mods for single player.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be, there's going to be some pushback on this, that I'm pretty sure that they're going to be like, hey, we don't want you to release these mods, and they're probably going to give them a cease and desist. So All I know is I don't. All I care about is that if the game really holds the what's the word? If it really sticks to the originals and really like captures that spirit of the original games, because hell, these new games look like exactly. They basically look like someone just had a high text mod installed into it, and that's really how it looks like. Not to me. I'll still buy it.
To be fair, though, I mean,
in the future,
like, whenever I see those like high texture mods and stuff like that for these older games, I still think they look really off though. That's why I brought up with Kenny was like the 360 port of like San Andreas. Like that shit was just a mobile port upscaled to the 360. And it always looked weird for me because like there were certain textures that looked better than others. It doesn't look like they gave like equal treatment towards everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like how the remaster for Assassin's Creed 3 was for the Switch.
Oh yeah, it just looked worse.
For the Switch, it was literally just a 360 port, just better lighting.
Well, and some fuck up on the character models.
Well, that was 2, and that was on the Xbox One.
Right. So that's like a bad thing right there.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to call it right now. There's definitely going to be a mod right now that's like, all right, you're going to be able to play the definitive edition so you get all the gameplay improvements, but the game is exactly like how it was released back in the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I was while you guys were going on, I was watching like a lot of comparison shots and stuff. And I think what really rubbed me the wrong way was that one shot with Tommy on the phone. I don't know, was Tommy always supposed to be a hefty guy?
Yeah. At least I thought so.
He was always been he was a little bit chubbier than like the other two protagonists, right?
Well, unless CJ, you build CJ to be fat.
True, but I mean like canonically, I'm talking.
Canonically, yes.
Okay, so Tommy, I don't know, it's weird because like I'm looking at the PS2 screenshots and it's like he doesn't look as chubby, but like on that one, I don't know. I guess he just has a really round chin. That's probably what it is.
Right.
I wonder if this is going to happen with the older school games, that they're just going to give a new texture update on this and make it high res and whatnot. I wonder if that's going to open up the windows with open the door with, I should say, with Red Dead, which one of you mentioned, and GTA 4. Because GTA 4 was one of those games that, honestly, the physics on that game is way better than GTA 5 in some aspects.
Except for the driving. I don't agree. I think the driving was way too top-heavy, in my opinion.
Homeboy, if you're driving at full speed and you make a far right turn, a sharp right turn, in GTA 5, you're just fine. You're literally just fine. But in this game, in GTA 4, you'll literally spin. You'll spin out and you'll spin around because your car's flipping over. Because obviously that's so much better. Because you're right on the top heavy fact when it comes to just moving side to side. But if you're going top speed and you just make a sharp right turn, your car's gonna topple over, and that's one thing I've liked about it.
I just, what I mean by that is I think they overtuned it. They fixed it in GTA 5, but I look, going back to GTA 4, is like, man, every car feels like you're driving a van for some reason. I don't know why. Like, you know, if you're driving like those really big SUV cars, and it's just like, if you're used to like driving like a smaller sedan, and then you go from an SUV, you know, when like you turn, you feel the car like catching up with the weight. Like that's how it feels. But yeah, I don't know. I think this looks pretty dope. I probably won't buy it, at least at launch. I do like the fact that it is coming to Switch, so that's kind of cool to have 3 Grand Theft Auto games on the go, and I don't have to play the mobile version, so that makes me really happy. Which is funny, because the Definitive Edition is also coming to Android and iOS, from what I've heard. Another cool feature is that it's which this is weird. So Grand Theft Auto Definitive Edition, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas Definitive Edition is coming to Xbox's Game Pass, and Grand Theft Auto 3 is coming to PlayStation Now, which is interesting because does that mean that at some point they're going to release these games individually, or they're always going to sell it as a bundle? I don't know. I mean, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much our opinion of it. I think it's fine. I think that the screenshots you were just shown were just a little bit on the negative. I think it's just them.
I think it's hot garbage. I think they're trying to get a cash grab, and I think that I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to get this out before the end, and then you can finish off on your good thoughts, or I can finish off on my bad thoughts. So
okay, Kenny.
I think it's hot garbage. I think they're asking for too much money, and it's just another cash grab for, you know, the GTA cash cow that they have going on already. So
I can't wait to see the reinvigorated GTA YouTube community. So I can't wait to see all the clickbait that's going to happen between all these 3 games right now. It's gonna be great.
I just think that same mentality that Kenny has, you could stick it with every company. I just feel like Kenny has Kenny just has a bias towards GTA because he's just like, I don't like their practices, and them doing this just doesn't make me happy. Because you could stick it to any company. Heck, that's why I hate Nintendo.
Yeah, it's like, how dare Nintendo charge money for video games? I mean, like, I already bought their system.
Literally why I hate Nintendo, because they're just like, oh, that's 3D All Stars was just a disappointment. But whatever.
Which is really weird because like Mario 64 is probably gonna look better on the Switch Online service.
What about Mario 65, man? Come on, get with the times.
I've never heard of a 65-bit.
Well, that's after you unlock Luigi and Mario 64.
No, I think Mario 65 is a mod.
It is. No, there is. There's.
And they haven't sued them yet.
Hacks out
wow.
There.
I'm pretty sure it's a ROM hack for like challenges and stuff. Like
the speedruns are pretty crazy.
Literally insane.
You never finished up. What are your thoughts?
All right. So, yeah, let's wrap up. Right. I think that I think that what it was just that the screenshots were shown are a little bit negative, especially the Tommy one. Yeah, that hand looks really fucking ugly, and I guess it was just that the way how they made him look like he had like a really big gut. But I don't know. I think that in motion, I think it's a fairly accurate interpretation of the art style that those games are going for, but just with a more modern look. Because I've always, like I said, I've always had a gripe with like games getting like HD textures and things like that, but they don't properly upscale the game for it. You know what I'm saying? It just looks really weird. Like, yeah, you're downloading the best fucking brick for Morrowind, but everybody else looks like has like 6 polygons for their entire body.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it always looks like really jarring. You know what I'm saying? Like textures are easy, true, but models is a whole different question. You know what I'm saying? I think in motion the game looks fine. I think it looks okay. I think for the $60 price tag though, I don't know, man. I mean, they're 3 full-fledged Grand Theft Auto games, and I mean, like, at least they're not charging them $30 each. So I don't know. I mean, like, I guess you could look at it that way. And I'm looking forward to, like, mainly the gameplay improvements. One thing hopefully I'm saying that I heard that they're trying to keep faithful with bringing the original soundtrack. So I hope they keep Billie Jean in Vice City, because that song has been removed on the Steam version. But, of course, you could easily just put it back in. And I admire when companies do that. Like when the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 was getting re-released, they went out of their way to try to get as much of the original soundtrack for those 2 games onto the remaster.
Jesus, I hope so.
But yeah, I think it's a lot of childhoods were built off of those 3 games soundtracks. But yeah, I think it's fine. I think it looks great. I'll probably will get it up eventually on Switch first, or maybe on PC. I'm not so sure, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Marcus, what you want to give your thoughts on it, or?
I'm mostly looking forward to the mods, to tell you the truth, because the modding community already made the game so much better with regards to like mod fixes and adding a whole bunch of new stuff into the game. So even with the graphical overloads or whatever you want to call it, that makes the game look even better than what the current definitive edition looks like. Imagine that mod team working on this game, making the game look a whole lot more smoother, a whole lot more nicer, less jagged lines, less corners, and just smooth lines. I'm looking forward to it.
Much more. You have a better modern foundation to work off of.
Yeah.
Because there's only so much you could do with, you could pimp the shit out of this Doom buggy from the 70s. But
I mean, that's the same way you're looking at Cursed Halo. You can only do so much with the engine, so. Yeah, I feel that.
There's only so much.
I can get behind the mods. Like, if they support mods for those games, then yeah, I can get behind them. But I still think that they're asking for too much money.
Okay. All right, that's fine. I think we should just go ahead and wrap it off, man. We had a very energetic episode, but that's what I like about this. I like the energy off of it. So we're going to go ahead and wrap, guys. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the DKM podcast. As you guys know, you can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor. I'm still working on getting on iTunes. We're still working on that. Sorry about that. If you haven't yet, please join our Discord server. We have the link down below. We would love to have you there along, and give us what you think about the show and what would you like us to talk about, things you want to build a community and other things like that. If you haven't yet, follow our Twitter. We also keep updates and posts on there as well. All the links are down below or in the description of wherever you're listening to. And I'm gonna go ahead and say have a good one. Take care. Until next time. See ya.